Two of my favorite clubs, my two favorite soccer teams are about to clash as Chelsea takes on LAFC in the FIFA Club World Cup. It's difficult saying it, just not used to putting in the club part of that. But my question is, does LAFC have a shot? People have been asking, should they even be on the pitch with Chelsea? Raj Groves believed in Chelsea FC, and we just didn't want to get a voice on LAFC. We got the voice of LAFC. That's right, Dave Denholm, who also is host of LAFC Plus podcast. It's available on all the LAFC platforms, YouTube page, SoundCloud, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast. So, Dave, I'm going to get right to it. Is this David versus Goliath? What's going on here?
Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. Certainly good to be on the show again. Always love talking to you, Raj, about the Blues and soccer in general. But boy, we get to combine LAFC and Chelsea here. That's a rarity. So That's the whole point of this, I think. That's the beauty of this tournament. We haven't really seen this to this level. Now, I've always loved the Club World Cup. I don't think fans in Europe specifically have taken it terribly seriously. I think the clubs always do. And I've watched some great matches over the years, but I think this takes it to a whole different level. This Club World Cup format where it's the 32 teams, 8 groups. It's going to be fun. I mean, you kind of alluded to it. Like, when do we get to see these teams play in a meaningful match? I'm tired of friendlies in America, right? Like all these teams come over to get the money, get their bag. I get it. I understand. But then they play a bunch of guys who wear number 96 or, 94 you've never barely heard of and probably will never get an appearance with Chelsea at the first team level. And then they, everybody, woohoo, what a great friendly, and who cares? Right? It doesn't matter if Chelsea win or lose to an MLS side or another team. But it doesn't matter. These matter. First and foremost, because FIFA decided we're going to give away $1 billion in prize money. That's what really makes this different, right? That's why
that'll motivate.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. And sorry, these are businesses. We all love them as our clubs and how we love football and it's for the people. I get that. Yes, that is part of the draw of soccer. But these teams are businesses and they want to make money. And this is big money. And that's why we've seen all these rosters. Everybody's sending their best.
Dave, so you alluded to it. You said, will the English or the European clubs take it seriously? So I'm like, okay, we're going to see a bunch of 99s, a bunch of academy kids. Damn, that Chelsea is bringing the bomb squad, Dave.
Exactly right.
Does that worry you? Out of 28 of the players that we're bringing, most of them are regulars, Dave.
Absolutely. I mean, certainly, that's one of the best teams in the world, of course. I mean, it's David versus Goliath, as you said. But it's a lot. It's like that a lot in this tournament. Look, is it going to end up where all the European teams get through? Probably not, just because we know what happens in sports. It's crazy. Things happen in these tournaments. We saw Saudi Arabia beat Argentina in the first match or their group in the World Cup, and Argentina goes on to still win the World Cup. So things on an individual game can happen. But yeah, these teams they're loaded. Of course, that's why they're the best teams in the world, but they're bringing their talent. Like, this is not just a showcase for their B teams or their under 21s or their under 19s. This is legit. And that's why I love it. Look, can you go out and lose 3 games in a row if you're Auckland City? Yeah, you're probably going to in your group, unfortunately. And maybe LAFC doesn't get a point. Maybe, but maybe they do, and let's just go play. And let's, in a game that matters and not a friendly where everybody can just be like, well, it was a friendly, and rightfully so. They're just friendlies. That's the name, but that's why I love this. I love this tournament. And now that FIFA has done this with it, I really think, Raj, look, this first year might be bumpy along the way fan-wise, or people don't quite know what to make of it. But I guarantee you, if FIFA sticks with this tournament is going to explode every 4 years. It really is. This is what I've been waiting for club football, and just the best of the best going at it. And you have to earn your way in, right? We know that. You got to earn your way in by being one of the best teams. Still some great clubs that aren't even in it, didn't even qualify for this. So I think if you deserve to be here, you better go enjoy it too. Look, you might take it on the chin. And I'm trying to downplay, maybe a little bit on this podcast. I think LAFC's got a good shot to do some stuff. I really do. But even if you take it on the chin, go enjoy it. We talk about this a lot in sports. Raj, you've been around for a long time. And if you're, maybe if somebody's new listening to the show, to your show, Raj and I know that, you got to enjoy regular seasons. You have to enjoy opportunities about stuff because only one team wins, and
Yeah.
If you look even at the NFL, you're only supposed to win once every 32 years. Are you supposed to win the Super Bowl if you're just bang average? That's a long time to be waiting around like, I want to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yes, of course we do.
Ask Cowboy fans about that, waiting 30
and you
years.
You guys have won a ton of them. I mean, ask a Browns fan like me. Like, of course I want to win the Super Bowl. Of course I want to win the World Cup, or I want to win MLS Cup. Only one team is going to win every year. You have to enjoy these kind of things. And this tournament, same thing, only 32 teams in. Chances are most of them don't really have a shot to win the whole thing. Go out and have fun. Go out and play hard and do your best and just enjoy it. And that's what the fans should be doing with this too.
Yeah, and speaking of going out and playing your best, and I know it's different competition, different league, but Chelsea does average like over 3 goals a game, 3.1.
Yeah.
LAFC has struggled a bit, averaging 1.9 goals a game. So, Dave, my question to you, you said anything can happen in sports. So what does LAFC have to do to beat Chelsea?
Well, you being a boxing fan, you know that they have a puncher's chance. Anybody in this tournament does. Now, again, Chelsea's the favorite in this match. They're the favorite in this group, but LAFC are certainly a good enough team. If they can dictate the tempo, if they play a perfect match, then they can beat Chelsea, no doubt about it. But it's going to take a heavy effort. And LAFC likes to give away the ball, essentially, and hit you on the counterattack. They don't love possession many games, but they can play that way if they need to. I suspect Chelsea's going to want the football, though, and get possession and get on the ball. And LAFC is going to have to counterattack brilliantly in this match, which they have the weapons to do. That's kind of how they play. So it's certainly a game where the styles fit, and maybe LAFC can do something with that. But again, they have to play really well. If Chelsea plays really well, yeah, they're going to beat just about anybody in this tournament. So it is a tough task, no doubt, and they are the favorites in Group D. But I believe LAFC can really pull off something here. And plus, it's the first match, Raj. You know how schedule matters in these World Cups too. Sure. You don't want to get blown out, right? No team wants to go out and lose big in their first match because goal difference might be a factor potentially, let's say, down the line. So sometimes you're a little more cagey, including the favorites in the first match. They got to come out and kind of feel their way through this tournament too, which do lead to upsets at times. So I like playing Chelsea in the first game in this group for LAFC. I think it's actually a good thing for LAFC.
Okay. And what is your biggest concern if you're LAFC? And of course, we're on with Dave Denholm, voice of LAFC, the voice of LAFC. What is your biggest concern if you're LAFC facing this Chelsea team?
Well, certainly, I think it's Chelsea's overall talent. I mean, offensively, they're very good. As you said, they score a lot of goals, and yet they don't really rely, it seems, on one. They do it from a lot of different areas on the pitch. They don't rely on just that one guy like that Messi or Ronaldo who's going to get you 35 goals. Now, maybe Liam Delap becomes that. I don't think that's necessary for Chelsea to have success, but I think they need better production out of the 9 spot. That's why they went out and got him. But, when you have a guy like Cole Palmer, he's the talisman in me, at least what I've seen, that you have to stop him, and good luck. That's the type of player he is. He's always going to be dangerous. You can stop him for 85 minutes and still lose. That's the problem with a guy like Cole Palmer for Chelsea. But I do think there's plenty of weapons on that team where they can hit you in a lot of different ways. That's very scary. Also, you don't want, in a match like this, the first game of this, you don't want to be overwhelmed. In other words, you don't want to make big mistakes early and let Chelsea get up 2-0 in the first 20 minutes. Then you're just digging out of a hole the entire match. They can get very comfortable. You want to make them uncomfortable. And if that's a goal early, okay, great. That would be awesome. But it's not even just that. You want to make them just off their game in a way that they're struggling to kind of get going. So even if you're not scoring, you want to make it difficult. You can't make big mistakes. The huge giveaways in the back, the easy goals, the teams that are the underdogs in this tournament, Raj, keep an eye out. If they're giving up easy goals, you're in trouble. These other teams are going to bury you. You have to make a team score world-class goals on you. And if they do that, which Chelsea certainly is capable, so be it. Tip your cap and you move on. But don't give away anything. Those are the concerns I think the underdogs in this tournament, including LAFC in this match, they have to be alerted to. And yeah, first goal will be great, but that's no guarantee either. You cannot shut off for a second. And that is a danger when you're playing such a good team, right? You can go out and play a great 44 minutes, and by halftime, you're down 1-0 or 2-0, and it's like, oh, man, that's going to be tough to come back from, no doubt. So I think, yeah, it's just those kind of things where toe-to-toe, we don't know how they're going to match up. Nobody's ever played these type of games, right? Chelsea's never played LAFC and vice versa. So Chelsea's really never, I don't think they've ever played an MLS team when it mattered. They played several friendlies, of course, along the way, and that's great. But, and LAFC's never played a team like Chelsea when it counted in a real match. So there's still so much unknown, and that's what I love. We're going to find out. And it doesn't solve anything. If LAFC go out and upset Chelsea, does it make them better than no, of course, come on. But it does, we'll just find out more about what these levels are, and throughout the whole tournament, really.
And that's part of the fun of having this type of tournament, obviously. And David, you guys, of course, have a former Chelsea player that helped us win the Champions League.
That's right.
Was that 3-4 years ago? But
well, it's why you're here in this tournament. The reason Chelsea qualified is winning that Champions League in 2021, and Olivier Giroud was actually on that team, as you say. So, he's very excited. Giroud
so I'm
really.
Going to ask you, speaking of Giroud, has he commented on facing his former team in Chelsea?
Yeah, he's a very kind of low-key guy in the sense that nothing really rattles a guy like Olivier Giroud. Obviously, he's won a World Cup. He's won the Champions League with Chelsea, played at the highest level. But you can tell, he was excited to win that match against Club America, which got us into this tournament. That was the play-in match a couple of,
great game.
A while ago. Game. Yeah, great game at BMO Stadium, and he was a big part of that. He's been playing very well. He's coming off the bench. He's really starting to click with his teammates, and really, he's just so good, as we all know, including Chelsea fans. We know how good he is in getting other people involved, helping his team. But he really was excited to be able to play Chelsea. He didn't think this would be when you come to LAFC, you're not expecting necessarily you're going to go play Chelsea in a meaningful game. And so, he's really excited to go play his former teammates. Oh, well, there's not really many former teammates left, of course. I don't even know if there are any. You know better than that.
James, only Reese.
There you go. So play his former team, if not his teammates. He's still very excited about the opportunity, no doubt.
Ben Chilwell is still on the roster, but
that's true.
Along, and obviously he's not going to play, but he's not on this roster coming across. Now, Dave Denholm, of course, voice of the LAFC Football Club. I guess, that's double saying twice, but they, of course, are in the MLS. Dave, how important is this to the MLS, this game, or even getting out of the group, or just having a good showing, like you say, getting a point or two, or maybe winning a game? How important is this to the MLS?
Yeah, it definitely is. I think that's a great question because, again, it's opportunity that just isn't there. You just don't know. Again, every MLS team has beaten teams in friendlies and has lost a team in, good teams in friendlies. Again, but what does that mean? Nothing. Nobody remembers those. Nobody really cares. So it's just, it's a matter of, yes, it is about the league. I can be honest with you. On a normal Saturday, when we have games in MLS, I want Seattle Sounders and Inter Miami to lose. Okay. Because they're good teams. I'm an LAFC radio announcer. I want LAFC to win every match. I want those two teams to lose I'm rooting for them in this tournament as if they're LAFC. I want MLS to represent well. Now, again, does that mean they have to go out and win the tournament? Of course not. That's the longest of long. That's Leicester City winning the Premier League. That's the exception to the rule. Of course, these other teams are going to be the heavy favorites. But as you said, have good performances. Don't make huge mistakes. Just prove you belong, too. What does that mean? Does that mean winning some matches? Maybe. But, people know, real fans of football, whether they're fans of Chelsea or LAFC or Al Ahly, who Inter Miami is playing in their first match, a great team, from Egypt. The fans know what good football is, and if teams can hang, even if Chelsea wins or whatever, did they play well? Did LAFC play well? Again, these are professional athletes, Raj. They want to win. So I'm not saying this is what their attitude is. They're not going out let's hope we keep it close. No, they're going to be bitterly disappointed if they lose. Every team in this tournament should be expecting to do well and win. But for fans I think it does matter. It's still a league that's 30 years old, and a lot of people don't give it enough credit. It's very underrated as a league, top to bottom, very difficult. The travel and all the stuff that goes into it, much more, tricky than people, would know. And a lot of players who come over say that, there's a lot of things about MLS that you're just not going to be prepared for. The speed of it, the physical nature of it, it's just different. A lot of leagues are different, right? And they have their own kind of styles, if you will. And I think MLS has developed that. But now it is, how do you go up against Chelsea or Flamengo or Real Madrid? That's a different level. So how can you perform? And what do you do against when those teams are coming at you and they want to come at you and they want to, when Chelsea wants to win 5-0, how do you handle that and to start a match? And so I think it is big. I think it is important for really more off the pitch, the fans, and for people who hate the league. Maybe they're rooting against it, or maybe they just think it's awful football. Well, we'll see. Maybe it isn't, and I think it is a big deal.
Well, obviously, I go to a lot of LAFC games where I come see you do your thing on the radio, the voice of LAFC, Dave Denholm, and I don't think it's awful football. I do think it's a level down, of course, overall, but awful football, no, not at all. There's quality, and I see it a lot when I'm out there. Now, Dave Denholm, Chelsea are a minus 345 favorite, which means they have a 78% chance to win. That's under the 78. So I need a prediction from the voice of LAFC, Dave Denholm. Just give me a prediction on this game. What do you think?
No, I love when we see graphics. Oh, this team has a 78% chance to win, or a 20. Good news, everybody! They're going to play the game, so we'll find out 100% either way, right? Like I know I understand the gambling aspects. That's a whole different beast, odds and stuff. But I love when ESPN, like on the ticker, they now have a 38% chance to win. Well, we're going to play the match. We'll find out. So don't worry about it. But LAFC, for them to have success in this tournament, and of course against Chelsea, Denis Bouanga, no question, is a huge part of that. Everybody who knows LAFC knows what Denis Bouanga can do. But if you don't know what Denis Bouanga can do, he'll mostly be on the left wing. He'll mostly be attacking at every moment. And here's the thing about Denis Bouanga. He is as equally dangerous in the first minute when he's completely 100% ready to go as he is in the 95th minute when he still somehow is at 100% physical peak. This man does not tire. He does not quit. And if LAFC can keep a match close, and I mean tied 0-0, 1, there is no way that anybody is going to out physical him in terms of performance and peak performance. I've seen great defenders in the Champions Cup playing against Club America the other day who can hold down Denis for a while, right? They're with him equally physically for the first 60, 70 minutes, but he's still in the 95th minute is running as hard, as playing as hard as he starts to blow by defenders, and again, Chelsea is a whole level. I mean, don't get me wrong, but if they think they're going to be able to skirt through defending him for, 45 minutes, he's a weapon. So LAFC is going to need it. They're definitely going to need to have Denis Bouanga have a big tournament. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. And, what I like about him too, Raj, wingers, everybody gets, he lost the ball. So what? He just keeps going. Yeah. You got to. Yeah. Wingers are going to lose the ball most of the time. That's why defenders are good. That's why they play at that level. You're going to lose the ball a ton when you're attacking the opponent's 18. That's just built in. Otherwise, the scores would all be 15-14. But you just keep going, and you have to have that mentality. And the great wingers do, and Denis Bouanga does, and he's going to keep going. If you stole the ball from him 9 times, you better do it the 10th. Otherwise, he's going to jam it down your throat. So I like what Denis has been doing. LAFC are on a 10-match unbeaten streak in all competitions. Some draws thrown in there, certainly. It's been about equal in terms of draws and wins, but they haven't lost since April. So, they're riding high. They're playing well. Certainly Chelsea comes in playing well. Flamengo's tops of Serie A. Esperance in this group, won Tunisia. I mean, these teams are hot. So that's kind of cool. Everybody's coming in playing really well, which will be interesting in this group also.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, it was Dave Denholm, host of the LAFC Plus podcast, available on all the LAFC platforms. You can catch it on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. You do that with Mario, right? Mario Ruiz.
Yeah, my producer on the broadcasts on the radio side. He also co-hosts with me. Mario Ruiz is the co-host of LAFC Plus, and we do talk a lot of LAFC, of course, but the plus in the name is. We do cover all MLS too. We like to focus on other teams, talk about what's going on in the league as well. And we've been all over this Club World Cup. Needless to say, we've been touting this thing before we even knew LAFC had a chance in the play-in game, and now we're super excited. It's unbelievable that we're in this tournament. So, and I can't wait to play Chelsea. Your Chelsea. So
That's
good
right.
luck with that.
That's right. Dave remembers. Dave taught me a lot about soccer back in the day, 20-something years ago when I picked up Chelsea from playing FIFA. I like that team. But anyway, Raj Groves, believe in Chelsea FC. Dave, appreciate you coming on. It's going to be a great match. I'm sure I'll text you a time or two. He'll be calling the game, of course. And that match is going to be down in Atlanta. Big ups to all my friends going down there to Atlanta to check out Chelsea versus LAFC. Dave, appreciate you. Keep up the great work, my man.
Thank you, buddy. Can't wait. It's going to be awesome.